Hey everyone, this is Diamond Rivera, and we are back at it with the Live Discussions with Diamond podcast. This is episode 226. And before we get started, I hope everyone is having an amazing Tuesday. Also, a big announcement. This podcast will be rebranding. Yes, rebranding. Instead of the Live Discussions with Diamond podcast, we're going to call it Let's Discuss with Diamond. That will be coming up soon as well. We'll be doing pre-recorded interviews as well from August throughout the year and beyond. So we're giving you more artists, more guests, more options, everything more. And everyone, I hope again your week is going amazing. Tonight's guest is really a special one indeed. A person I've been watching over this past 2 or 3 years, really making a name for himself, going to congresses and festivals and DJing all over, letting these people know like he is here. He's one of my favorite DJs. And I haven't even met this gentleman in person, but just seeing everything he's been able to create over these past years, man, we need more people like him in our dance world. And I am pleased to announce all the way from San Antonio, we got the one and only DJ FNF.
What up, people?
Let's go. Let's go. Oh, man. First of all, FNF, I love the getup right now. I mean, what? Tell me, where'd you get those glasses from? First of all,
But I'm online, but I can't say where because I don't think anybody's gonna copy my style because I'm the only DJ that has these glasses, really. But I'm online, man, at Amazon.
hey, but listen, but as I kind of saw that sign. Did it say the People's DJ?
It is. That's what it says. The people's DJ. That's my tagline, brother. Because I play for the people.
Thank you. That's what DJs need to be playing for is the people.
I don't play for the promoters or the events. I play for the people.
Man, I love it. And like I said before earlier, really getting to know you really around the height of COVID, but also us having mutual friends, but also seeing and us even talking as well and realizing your history, you kind of dates way back in terms of just being involved in a dance scene before becoming a DJ. And I believe you became a DJ in 2018. Am I correct?
Correct.
All right. Yes, and trust me, we'll definitely get into that and how that story started. But, my thing is this. Here at this podcast, we focus on appreciating the value and contributions of artists like yourself. So for me, DJ FNF, can you give me and everyone else an understanding of who you are before the DJing, before it all?
My nationality is Honduran Mexican, half and half. Born and raised in Honduras, came here when I was 16. Went to college, got married, then I got divorced. And then after my divorce, I'm like, where am I gonna meet girls? And I said, dancing, it's in my blood, right? And then after my first class, I realized that it wasn't in my blood. And I needed to learn really and spend a lot of time taking classes. So I started taking salsa classes, fell in love with it. And I quit twice during the process because salsa is frustrating to learn. Yeah, and this is on one, too. This is not even on two. On two is even more difficult. But anyway, I digress. That's why bachata is easier, but I tell people learn bachata. Anyway, so I got into salsa, started dancing, and then I heard bachata in 2009, and I never looked back, man. Bachata just really got a grip on my heart and has never let go. I still love it as much today as I did in 2009 when I first saw it.
Oh, man. And you're talking about 2009. I'm still remember like Te Extraño. I'm still remembering 24 Horas, all these groups back then.
Yes, sir.
And realizing too, like, honestly, it's interesting that you say, because, a lot of us, whether we want to admit it or not, we started with salsa. And then we kind of like dipped our toes and we saw that room and we saw that music and we saw the people. And then that kind of grabbed us. So for me, now understanding as we talked, you came all the way from Honduras all the way to LA.
Yes, sir.
So a question I have for you, kind of taking away from dances, what was that like for you? Actually, from where you're from, coming all the way to LA of all places.
Right. Well, I would like to say there was a difficult transition, but it wasn't. Thankfully, my mom and dad had the vision of some point bringing us over to the States. So they sacrificed a lot and they put us through bilingual school. So when I came here, I had a 6th grade level English of understanding already. So I didn't have to go through the heartaches of trying to understand the language and then learn it,
Yes.
and then be bullied and made fun of and all that stuff. So I didn't really have a hard time. We got our green card and then we flew over, which is
Mm.
also a very easy. I have tons of friends who that wasn't the case, right? Who came here with illegally and had to endure hard times just to make it to the States, right? So my transition over here, aside from me leaving I was 16 at the time and had a 19-year-old girl. Aside from leaving her behind and crying on the way,
Oh my God. You
that,
like
that,
them older. You like them older, I see.
that's the only a heartache that I can honestly say that I had. My parents, bless them, they really took care of everything, and without them and their sacrifice, I wouldn't be here, man. So it was an easy transition. I came right into 10th grade. I already
Yeah.
knew the language, so I just picked up, and yeah, that was pretty much it. Culturally, man, I was okay because we idolized American culture in Honduras, right? So I knew what it was like,
Mm.
and I just kind of blended right in, man.
Wow. And for me as well, then I've been to LA myself. And LA is a beast amongst itself. And I think as we talked, you say it's kind of the you eat or you get eaten type of world and
That's it.
atmosphere there.
That's
So
it.
then for you then, and as we even talked, you started taking your first classes there. Do you remember like your first class, your first teacher, those
Oh yeah.
moments?
Oh yeah. It was an older lady. Bless her heart, man. She must have been like 60, 70 years old, and it was a very basic class. And I was like, man, I need somebody who looks like me, somebody who's young and hip,
Mm.
and can show me some fun moves. I don't. And the median age in that class probably was like 50, and this is when I was like mid 30s, right? And and I was like, these people are too old, so I left, and thankfully I came across the Black Power Ranger. You know who he is, right?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
So he was teaching in LA, and for 2 years I immersed myself in his instruction at this club that I don't think it's even no, it's not open anymore. But anyway, and I started learning from him, and yeah, I loved it, man.
Man. And so then going from working with him and getting a little bit better, tell me then your introduction into bachata because we know you started with salsa,
Yes,
but
right.
then how did that come about?
So I swore I'll be a salsero till the day I died, man. I remember in LA, if you were an advanced salsero, you wore those. You got to wear those square white toe, square toe, white square toe shoes, and you only wore those if you were advanced. And I remember the day that I went and I bought a pair of those because I reached the advanced level, and I felt so on cloud nine. But I had a friend of mine who was a bachatera, and she was just like, "Hey, you need to come hear this bachata." I was like, "Nah, I got salsa is more than I need.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't need anything else. That's it." And she kept nagging, and the first time that I saw bachata, it was at the Palm Springs Salsa Extravaganza uh,
Mm.
in Palm Springs, California, which last year had the pleasure of co-hosting. By the way, that festival was very special to me because that was the first festival I ever went to, and the first festival that I saw bachata, and I was like, "This is kind of sexy."
Yeah,
So
it was definitely different. It was
right,
definitely
yeah.
different.
And I was like, "What?" And so when I went back to LA, I hit up my friend. I was like, "Hey, I'm not sold on it, but I'm intrigued." And she invited me to a little showcase they were having, and I was like, "Okay, let me see about this." And the way I like in bachata is like the Spider-Man movie, where he gets bit by that spider, that black virus starts taking over him, and he can't control it, and it just
Yeah.
engulfs. That's what bachata is, man. That's what happened to me anyway. That's my experience. I couldn't shake it, and before I knew, I was dancing bachata every other day, and that's where I got the name Bachadicto because I was a bachata addict, bachata adicto. And my friends like, "You're Bachadicto," and I changed my name that same day on Facebook to Bachadicto.
Wow. See, that's an interesting story because I'm seeing his profile and I'm like, there's got to be a story to that. But then as well, you even having a story from even the DJ FNF, which we'll get into. Don't
Yeah,
worry about that.
right,
But then,
right.
see, my question to you is then, what was that like of you seeing the growth of bachata, especially on the West Coast.
Goodness. Wow. Well, all that credit goes to Jorge Contreras and Leslie Ferreira. They're the ones that Jorge Contreras used to run the LA Bachata Festival with Leslie, but now he is into real estate, so he became a millionaire through real estate. So hats off to him, right? Yeah, and he stopped doing the festivals. But he started bachata in 2009, the summer, with like 5 people in somebody's backyard with a concrete floor, and he went to Steven's Steakhouse, which is the home of bachata in LA. And he said, I want to do something. And he said that he might have gone to 20 restaurants, and they all turned him down. And Steven said, all right, we'll give you a chance in that little room in the back. And there was like maybe 20 people there when I went. Very small. And I was like, dang, this is it? So yeah. I was like, all right. Yeah, and that was like December of 2009. And then through January of 2010, I started dancing and learning. And I picked it up pretty fast because I was already advanced in salsa. And now if you go to Stevens on a Wednesday or a Sunday night, you can have up to like 300 to 500 people in there. So it was amazing how we went from that small little room to then half the main floor. And then we eventually booted out the salseros from the main floor. and we took over Stevens Steakhouse. That Stevens Steakhouse now is the home of bachata in LA. And that used to be predominantly salsa since the 80s and 70s. Yeah, so
wow.
I was there for the growth of the bachata movement in LA. I'm thankful to have been part of that.
It's amazing because not just you, but I've also spoken to people like DJ Invincible, Vince Torres, that told me the same thing.
Yep.
But and realizing too, like even in the New York side, I remember when again salsa, as they say, was king, and we remember even in the LA Salsa Fest days when. I don't remember. I'm not going to lie to you. Maybe I wasn't in the right room. I don't ever remember maybe between the years of 2005 to 2008. I'm just going to give those 3 years. I don't remember a single bachata being played ever at the LA Salsa Fest. They can correct me if I'm wrong. But what I'm also going to show is places like the LA Salsa Fest, the New York Salsa Congress. They played and they catered to salsa, to mambo, to cha-cha.
That was it.
And I saw between like 2009 to 2016 is those years for me that I've seen bachata really grow within the States, but also globally.
Yes, sir.
Because I still remember in New York Congress, like mid 2010s, having Island Touch have a small little room in the Hilton. You had about 50 to 70 people, and I started seeing the salseros coming in. And a lot of them don't want to admit, but I saw them coming in, peeking in, kind of like just holding up the wall. And then those same people, and I'm not going to say any names, then became bachateros themselves, even though they may not want to admit it. But for you then, what was that like? You said you kind of caught that bug.
Yeah.
Besides Steven's Steakhouse, was there things slowly starting to kind of pick up within LA?
The Granada LA was another strong powerhouse, man. So Stevens ruled Wednesdays, and then on Thursday we go to the Granada LA, where Alejandro de la Torre used to work there, and he used to have socials there on Thursdays. Not him, but DJ Kenny.
Kenny Miranda.
Kenny Miranda, yeah, Kenny LA, yeah, absolutely, yeah, him, yeah, absolutely. The gentleman who does the traditional traditional bachata festival in LA. Yeah, yes. So he used to do Thursdays, and that Thursdays became huge. This is way before Bachatopia as well. Now Bachatopia kind of took over that on Fridays. But yeah, so Stevens on Wednesdays and Sundays. And back then, Stevens was also on Mondays and sometimes on Fridays. So it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then they started doing Sundays. Yeah, bro. Every other day I was out there dancing, and I loved every second of it, man. And then on Thursdays, we would go to, like I said, the Granada. And then sometimes on Saturdays in LA was dead. So I think that's when people just hang out with their families or their kids or whatever. But yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday and Sunday, it was just like lit.
So all we're missing is, you said, I don't know if you even said Saturday, but I even hear Tuesday. So Tuesday was that open little gap of
Tuesday was like there was something somewhere else in LA, Riverside or but yeah, wherever else, yeah. But maybe OC, I don't know. But in LA, Tuesdays and Saturdays were kind of dead. Yeah. So
So my question to you then is, what was it like going from, learning this kind of style of dance, falling in love with it, but then you're starting to see performances? Like for you, were you more of like, I love to just social dance, or were you just appreciating it all? The people now started to have choreographies of this.
To be honest with you, I've always been a social dancer, brother.
Mhm.
And when I teach just social dance moves because I love performances, but the way I used to feel is like I say this: I don't want to watch people dance. I want to dance. Like I have to go to work tomorrow, bro. Like you're taking half an hour away from my dancing time.
I love your honesty.
And I understand the importance of performances because it creates hype and all that stuff. It brings more people in. But I was like, dude, I just want to dance. Like I get it. Yeah, let's get one or two, but half an hour, I was like, yeah. So and the performances obviously as bachata grew and exploded in LA, more teams came on the scene. Bachata Caliente was one of the first teams there, that led by again Jorge Contreras and Leslie Ferreira. And man, that they were the team to be on in LA. I've never been on any teams. Just side note, never performed once in my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
You are a unicorn.
I am, brother. I've never performed once in my life and never been on any team. When I went to Arizona, I started a team in January of 2020, and then in March of 2020, obviously,
it was like, that was it.
That was gonna be my first performance ever, but it never happened. So
God had other plans for you.
That's right.
Man, it's amazing too just to hear it, because when I tell people I appreciate their honesty, because again, when we have these conversations, like, hey, even as a videographer, I've had conversations with attendees, artists, when they say, hey, maybe we we also have to understand the amount of performances has quadrupled.
Correct.
Since 2009. So we have to also realize the amount of companies and productions and performances there. Like I remember LA was maybe 15 to 20, and people were like, all right, that's good.
Right.
And now you're at events and it's 40 to 60 shows.
Yeah, it's hours, couple hours. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So then, realizing as well, you of social dancing, but starting to love this style more and more. Now let's really get into how the DJing came about. And that was a story you had told me about, but kind of help other people understand how was DJ FNF born?
I like to say that I have joked my way through my life, man, because that also became kind of a. So I moved to Arizona in 2018 because I had a lifelong dream of not having a mortgage payment. And in LA, that would have been just impossible. So when my daughter went to college, I left California and I moved to Arizona. And I wasn't able to fulfill the dream there because I didn't have the funds to buy that condo outright. But it was a better living condition. And I never dreamt of being a DJ. I mean, in LA, we have so many powerful DJs, right? I mean, goodness gracious, DJ So Nasty, Invincible, Zonic, DJ. Those are LA DJs, right? You go to OC, Luis Aragon, right? Other ones as well that are strong there. You have people in Riverside. Anyway, so DJ Marco Pedraza, right? So I never had a desire to be a DJ because there was already so many good ones, right? So, but when I went to Arizona, my business partner there, Larry Garcia, who I love to hate. We have a love-hate relation. I love him to death, literally. So when I started showing up to his socials, he saw that my level of dancing was not like the locals there. And he will tell you that his bachata is really, really bad. Well, he doesn't dance bachata number one, but he'll tell you that his bachata selection of music is really bad as well. So what he said is this guy dances better than anybody here. And if I don't play music that he likes, he's not going to come back to my socials. So at least he didn't have the ego, right, to say I'm gonna play whatever I'm gonna play, and he's like, right.
That's why you become the people's DJ.
Exactly, absolutely. So he pulled me up to the side and said, "Hey, bro, my name is so and so." He's like, "Why don't you send me some songs that you want me to play for you?" I was like, "Oh, dang, all right." DJs don't do that, right? They just don't, So, so I emailed him songs, right? And he would play them. And then then one day he's like, "Hey, bro, next time, why don't you plug in your phone and play some songs?" And I was like, "Okay, that's cool." And I was just happy that I was introducing all the music that I heard from LA. This is not even my music. I just all the music that I heard from all the amazing DJs, I was introducing it to Arizona. And so that's when all the joking and the banter between him and I went back and forth, because he made a flyer saying special guest DJ 7S, because at the time I had an iPhone 7S and I DJed from this app the first time in 2018 in Arizona at Elks Club, which is still going strong, by the way. And Larry Garcia had been up until that time 7 years strong in socials classes. Then I took over after COVID, and now he's back there again. But Elks is a very, very special place in our hearts in Arizona. So I DJ for the first time here, and people just lost their minds. They're like, "Oh, 7S, that's hilarious, blah, blah, blah." They started laughing. They would come to the little DJ booth and see me like messing with it. It just became a thing, bro, a joke. And then the flyer just started happening, right? And then that night, he's like, "All right, bro." He's like, "On Saturday," that was a Tuesday night, "I have a social Saturday and I need you to DJ." And I was like, "I don't have a laptop." And it's like, "Well, you need to buy one." I was like, "All right." And I don't shy from any challenges, right? So on Wednesday, I put an ad on Facebook. I said, "I need somebody to sell me a used laptop." And my friend from California Riverside, Edwin Lemus, he said, "I have a laptop. I will sell it to you for $250. I was like, "Done." He sent it overnight on Thursday. I got it on Friday, and I loaded up all my songs on Friday night. On Saturday, I pulled up to Elks Lodge in Arizona, and I DJed the bachata room in the back off of iTunes. No DJs software, nothing. Just push and play, man, and just selecting the songs as I would. And this is music that I had heard from all the great DJs in LA. So of course people loved it, right? Because if I like them, I'm a dancer at heart. I've always been a soldier dancer. If I like the song, I know that other people are gonna like it, right? Yeah. And I picked the best of the best songs from LA, and I played it, and people were like, "Wow, this music is amazing. We never heard it." And that was the birth of my DJ career. I didn't have a name just yet, but I don't know if you want to tell the story about the name now or later, but that was the first time I DJ for Larry Garcia at Elks, and the rest is history, brother.
Man, and that's interesting because, again, as we know, like I've had talks with DJs, and a lot of them are different. A lot of them they focus on the blending, crossfading, transitioning. Right. But I always say, honestly, if you understand the music, if you understand what the people want, that right there, half the battle is won. Correct. Because I've also met DJs that say, "I will play what I want because I know what I want works." And don't get me wrong, that can work, but that's not every scenario. Correct. And like you said too, you literally, and trust me, I remember YouTube DJs. They would go on YouTube, have different tabs up, and go from next. But to see you literally at an event at Elks with a iPhone 7S with the Mix app and doing it, and people appreciating it, that right there was like, not many people can do that. But then you said, taking that challenge, getting that computer from Edwin Lemus, who as well I'll be speaking to, because I would love to have him on. So he can actually talk about that story as well. But so then, and now we get into really the name, because of course you were known as DJ iPhone 7S or DJ 7S, but we really, most people know you as DJ FNF. So how did that name come about?
So when I decided to do this more often, because Larry paid me, and I was like, pay me to have fun. I was like, okay. He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, bro. He's like, I need you to DJ like every social with me. I was like, bet. I'm like, I never even dreamt of being a DJ, but of course it's fun, right? So I love having fun. So the challenge became, what name do I give myself, right? well, Bachadito is my handle on Facebook, like I said, but DJ Bachadito's too long, right? And I was like, no, I don't like that. DJ Ed was too basic. And then somebody said, well, you are fat and fit, right? Because I used to be a personal trainer, and then I stopped training, and I stopped dancing salsa. I started dancing bachata. Bachata is a lot slower, so I became a little fat. I was fit and fat. So I started telling people that I was fat and fit. I'm like, hashtag fat and fit nation. And people started laughing, blah, blah. And then somebody's like, why don't you just call yourself DJ Fat and Fit? And I was like, no, I'm going to call myself DJ FNF.
FNF.
And it just flowed. It rolled off the tongue. And that person was like, that's it. And that was it. That was the birth of DJ FNF, man. And it's a joke. It's funny. And like I said, I've laughed my way through a lot of my success in life just because I don't take myself seriously, like not too serious. I'm dead serious when it comes to, like, obviously I performed at festivals, and I've ran and I've been the head DJ at the Phoenix Salsa Bachata Festival that Larry Garcia and Ed Amaya host. And I'm dead serious there, but I don't take myself too seriously where I don't laugh at myself in life. Right. So, it was a joke, and it became a reality, and it worked. So I'm like, here it is, DJ FNF. And then the people's DJ, my good friend from Arizona, Jay Adrian, he's like, you are the people's DJ. And I was like, why? Because you play what the people want to hear. And I was like, that's amazing. And I became DJ FNF, the people's DJ, because I'm always paying attention to what the crowd wants to hear, not what the promoter wants to hear, not what the venue wants to hear, not what the people that pay their little $10 to go in and hear me DJ. They're the ones that need to go home happy at the end of the night, not the promoter or the venue, right? So I play what they want to hear.
I love that. And of course, Vince here saying this man is really wearing his LED shades.
Yes,
I mean, it wouldn't be right without it. I think I would have been asking about it.
This is my brand right here, bro. Absolutely.
Oh,
no DJ does this.
So you know what? And it's interesting enough. So because we know that as you as well, like, you just love to have fun. So here on this podcast, we've definitely have done our research. And we found a photo of you. And this is a segment that I really want to, when we're going to get this photo up, trust me. Oh, of course. And then Vince says he stays true to the theme.
Yes,
hey, and so before I get to this photo that I'm going to show you, my question to you then is, what was it like for you now stepping from going into the socials and now actually being a part of festivals, congresses, events with hundreds of people, many artists? What was that transition like, going from, like, the little events to the bigger ones?
Right. Well, the first event that I ever DJ at a festival was the Palm Springs Salsa Bachata Festival. And the reason why I say that the festival was very special because it's a lot of firsts. That's the first festival that I ever went to in 2009. That's the first festival where I saw bachata, and I was intrigued in 2009. And then in 2012, I went back and I taught there for the first time bachata with my then partner, Tania Borges, who literally forced me to be her partner because I was scared to death, right? But she's like, I'm a teacher at a teach. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So in 2012, I went back and I taught there for the first time ever. Then in 2017 or early 2018, I believe, or 2019, I don't remember. I think it was 2019. I went there and I DJ'd for the first time at a festival as DJ FNF. Yeah, it was 2019 because in 2018 I became a DJ in Arizona, and then 2019 we went there, and then a month later it was the Phoenix Salsa Bachata Festival. But this one was before that. So that was the first time I DJ'd at a festival, and it was amazing because socials are cool, but when you're DJing for 500 plus people. Oh my goodness, the energy in the room, unreal, man. It just like to have the you're controlling the dance floor.
Yeah,
right.
The pulse. You are controlling the pulse of it.
Yeah, you have the heart of that social in your hand, and that's a great responsibility. It's a humbling responsibility, and I freaking love it, man. I was like, I can't believe that I get to not only get paid to do this, but be here, be the one guy that pushes play and whatever sound comes out of these speakers, the people love and get lost in that. And I get to impact them and touch them without even touching them, right? Because they go home saying, man, that song that he played was my favorite. I loved it. Wow, I had such a great dance song. And they'll remember that moment for who knows how long. And I created that, right? So I don't take that lightly, man. Like, I had an impact in this person's emotional state for that hour that I'm DJing, right? And that is unbelievable to me, man. Like, I love that. That's what I love about DJing, that I get to touch people without even touching them. I get to alter their emotional state. You know, if they're stressed or they're sad or whatever, I play a song and they're like, oh my gosh, that's my song. And after they're done dancing, they're like, man, I feel better now. That's power. Right?
I love that. I love that because, to be honest, you really hone in on the people. Because again, we've talked and we know there are DJs that play for themselves, but also people have to realize at a Congress and event, there are other organizers and promoters there, and they're watching you and watching the crowd's reaction. Right. So again, the way you represent yourself, the way you play your sets matters. I get it. Some people want to play a set, leave it, and do what they want to do, but also other DJs know. You know when somebody's in it and is doing it. And you know when somebody's just lazy and just like, you know what, I'll throw it on, we'll see whatever. But so I need you to answer me this question. So when we see this photo, I need you to tell me what was going through your mind when you.
I need to first bring this up right here, man. You know what this is?
Is that agua? No, that's Mama Juana.
Mama Juana from the República Dominicana, right here. So what happened is that let's see, when was this? Man, that picture was taken. Man, where were we? 2021, last year, right? Last year, my ex bought me a flight to the DR. I've never been to DR.
Wait, by yourself?
No. Her and I. She bought flights, hotel, and surprised me with that trip, right? And I was like, oh my goodness, this is unbelievable. So I was super excited, right? So when I went there, of course, we got immersed in the culture. Bought some Mama Juana. This is a bottle from the DR. I knew this.
Oh yeah, I know that. It got the sticks in it. It got all the shit.
Dude, there it is.
Yeah, exactly. I know exactly.
Absolutely. You know what?
Take one. Yeah, just a little. Just.
Yes, sir. Right to the heart. Anyway, so we went to the DR. I got immersed in the culture, dancing, all that stuff, and I was the head DJ at the Phoenix Salsa Bachata Festival, right? Like, as I mentioned, the year before I did body paint as well, but this year it was my thing to do body paint, right? And I'm like, what am I gonna do? And I thought of the Dominican flag. I mean, it was like, I have to. I just came from the Dominican Republic, right? And this is a lady in Arizona, and I said, can you do this for me? She said, absolutely. She came to my hotel room, painted the flag, and there were some Dominicans there at the festival, and they're like, bro, that looks so amazing, so detailed. Well,
yes.
Angel Vargas was there. He was like, dang, man. He was there. Also, Alex was there, right? From Alex and Desiree. And he was like, dang, man, the detail in this flag. Yeah, so when I came out, people were like, holy crap, that looks amazing. So, like I said, I like to have a lot of fun, man. But obviously, that was a strong, powerful message that delivered, right? I love bachata. Bachata is in my heart, and it looks so professionally done. I mean, so.
Yes, big shout out to that artist, because listen, man. I mean, I've seen costumes, but that right there is an original piece, and that was amazing. And listen, I agree. Going to Dominican Republic, it changes me. I mean, I met my wife there, so I mean, anything is possible. So now, really, before we get into our last segment called the randoms, realizing now we're in 2022, and realizing there are so many more events popping up all over the world, it seems. So for you, what are kind of some of your plans going towards, the end of this year and really beyond?
So as you know, I moved 2 months ago. I left Arizona and I moved to San Antonio. And people can probably wonder why I did that. And I'll be honest with you. The reason why I moved to Arizona is the same reason why I moved here, because I was pursuing a lifelong dream of owning my home with outright, no mortgage payments. Right, this has been a financial goal since I was 18. I bought my first condo when I was 23, and I've sold and flipped, condos ever since. And the real estate market was at its peak about March of this year, and I sold my condo in Arizona. I made enough profit to buy a house here in San Antonio cash. So I no longer have a mortgage payment. I've been credit card debt free since 23. So I feel like I'm retired. I get to work and do what I love to do, which is DJing. I'm teaching, right? I'm teaching at Esta Noche Dance Studios with J Square, Jonathan, Jennifer, right? I'm DJing for them. I've taught at Algo Nuevo with DJ Plazias and Lee Rios, right?
Oh, yes, DJ Plazias. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Which, by the way, Plazias is the one who taught me how to blend songs. He went to Arizona when Eda Maya hired him. He stayed at my condo, and he taught me how to mix songs. Yeah, so yeah, I am indebted to him for teaching me how to blend, about beat matching, all that stuff. So I also work. This Saturday I'm DJing at the Bachata Room for DJ Ludwig. So I live here now. I feel like I'm retired, and I don't have to DJ, but I do it because I love it. Right?
Yeah.
I am financially debt free, which is, like I said, a goal since I was 18. So my goal for this year and the community here is just what my goal was when I went to Arizona in 2018. It was a young community. Bachata was not really a force in the community when I got there. And as a result of me DJing and teaching, it became a force, right?
Yes.
I'm already maybe a month in here. I started teaching weekly here, like I said, at Esta Noche Dance Studios with J Squared. I'm gonna start doing boot camps. I'm always DJing. I'm doing lots of private lessons. So I'm gonna do what I did in Arizona, is just help the community become stronger and be more representative of bachata. They have a very strong salsa community here, and bachata is growing. The people are hungry to learn. My classes are well attended, so I'm thankful for that. So wherever people have a need, I'm willing to help. I'm not after this from financial gain, because like I said, I really have very little overhead. So I'm not doing this to become world famous or take over anybody's job. I just want to help the community, because in the end, it benefits me. If we have better dancers, when I go dancing, I'm gonna have more fun, right? So
yes.
that in a selfish kind of way, I'm doing this for myself. But
hey, I mean, at least you're honest about it.
But no, just what I told J Squared. I'm here to help out wherever you guys need. I'll be there to fill the need, right? So people need help DJing, whatever. I am also going to do what I was doing in Arizona as well, which I did weddings, I did quinceañeras, I did corporate events and all that stuff, right? Because I have my own DJ equipment. So all that stuff, I'm just going to plug in the holes wherever there are any holes and see where this takes me. Do I want to start traveling again, be going to festivals and stuff like that? Absolutely. I would love to. But if that doesn't happen, that's great too, right? I'll just help my community, right? I'll build my community first, and from there, we'll go from there.
Man, I love that, to be honest, how much you are invested in the community. Because, again, it's easy to kind of leave the people you have behind when you're just traveling and doing you. But just hearing that no matter what, it all brings back to the community, but also making yourself happy. You got to make yourself happy before you can make others happy.
Yes, sir.
So I appreciate you just being honest about that. And now it brings us to our last segment, called the randoms, which I have some questions here and may deal with dance and everything in between.
All
so
right.
Are you ready for your first question?
Hit me.
All right. And I want you to be honest here. I need you to get me your pet peeve at a social as a dancer.
Smelly dancers.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't care if you can dance, but I do care if your breath stings and you have a BO. Come on, man. Like, yeah, at my socials in Arizona, I used to have at the very front a tub of mint and cologne.
Oh my God, the mint, the little.
And I always have like 2 or 3 colognes whenever I'm DJing. So if guys need, hey, come get it, man. It's free. Yeah. So
damn, look, you really are for the people because
Hey.
I mean, hey, you you are the people's DJ inside and out. You got them covered at all angles. All right, next question. I think you kind of hit upon it earlier upon you speaking about being a DJ, but you know, I do ask this question to many DJs. Do you really take requests?
Oh, absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
Gotcha.
If I haven't, I will play it. And once again, why do I do that? I understand some DJs, excuse me, let's say a top 1% of the DJs, right? They might have already a pre-scheduled set, like let's say Soldier,
Yes.
right? Because he is the best in bachata DJing, right? So he already has a set that he wants to play because he needs to showcase new songs or whatever, right? I get that, right? But us local DJs, we are paid by like our friends who go to the social, right? And if my friend who I go out afterwards and eat tacos with, right, ask me for a song, I'm not gonna be like, nah, bro, I'm not gonna play a song, right? You know what I mean? Right? If I have the song,
yeah,
I'll play it. You know what I'm saying? If I can download the song, I'll probably play it as well. Unless it's a horrible song, man, then I'm like, hey man, you know, that song is not really, you know,
it's not. Yeah, it's gonna fuck the mood up.
Right? Yeah. But I would say 99% of the times I play that song. I even go on the mic saying, hey guys, my name is DJ FNF. If you guys have a song request, I'll play it if I have it. If not, you'll get your money back. And then I'm like, no, I'm just kidding. You know?
Okay. I'm about to say, because you know that promoter about to come
Yeah,
back.
exactly. It's going to come out of my pocket.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to come back with you with one less.
Right.
All right, next.
But again, it's about building the environment for that person, right? So I want that person to go home happy.
No, I agree because, and I'm going to say this because I've heard attendees say just how thankful that they were that DJ played that song because you never know what someone's going through.
Right.
And you're realizing some people come to these events just to release some stress. Right. And listen, the work that you guys put out speaks volumes. All right, next question is, if you could have one last meal right now, what would it be?
Dang. My goodness, this is tough. So in 2001, I went to Italy. I went to St. Francis of Assisi. And I had a pizza there, man, that it was just dough, sauce, basil, and cheese. And till this day, man, this is in 2001 that I went there. I still remember that pizza.
That's all. I mean, that's all you need. A real pizza.
That's it. And I haven't forgotten. I haven't had anything anywhere remotely close to that.
I mean, I'm sorry to say, but I don't think in LA or in Arizona or San Antonio you're gonna get anywhere. I'm sorry, no disrespect.
Right.
Maybe tacos. They ain't got tacos in St. Francis of Assisi. But listen, I definitely agree with you. My wife has been to Italy and she has told me like that food there is like it's like I'm not gonna go to France for tacos.
No,
I gotta go straight. I gotta go to Mexico. I gotta go as close as possible. All right, and hey, I appreciate that because listen, those pizzas from Italy I've heard are just like immaculate. Yep. All right, next question here. So of course we know that you DJ, but we also know that you just love also to dance. So what is a favorite song of yours to dance to? If the DJ gave you the opportunity to choose a song, what song is it?
Let's see. Recently, I've been vibing to Provenza by DJ Selfie, man. Yeah, that remix. I love remixes, man. I'm not one of those. I love traditional music as well, right? But I love remixes, man. And Selfie is smooth with it, man. That Provenza with my Karol G. That song gets me, brother. Yeah, so I love that.
Big shout out to DJ Selfie out here in the New York area doing amazing work.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, this next question here might put you on the spot because We know that you love to dance in many cities. We know you've laid your impact in many cities, but can you give me your favorite
Oh yeah,
dancing city?
hands down, LA,
Ooh.
bro, and specifically at Steven's Steakhouse, man. I mean, that place, the energy that I went there, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I wish I could disguise myself as somebody else and nobody would know who I was, and I could just stand there. Just standing and watching people is enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but obviously I can't do that because and people start asking me to dance, right? Or the music DJ so nasty plays a song, and I'm like, I look at him like, really, bro? Like I just like I just want to enjoy this. And now I have to go dance it because I can't not dance this up, right? So
Yeah.
the energy in that room, it is palpable, man. It just
You have to
unbelievable.
be there to experience it,
Dude,
basically.
yeah, it just and people that challenge each other to get better, whether it's in a healthy way or not, the way they challenge themselves. But you I know that's a different story, right? But you want to become an advanced dancer when you go to Steven's Steakhouse because the level of dancing there, 8 out of 10 songs that dance there are amazing.
Mm. Hey, that percentage is really good.
Yes, sir.
All right, this next question here, I want to ask you because even as a dancer, we know that you love dancing with as many people as you possibly can, if not just the whole night. But imagine you are at your favorite Congress festival, event, social weekend, or whatever, and it is the last song of the night, and you can only dance with one person. Who is that?
Oof. I'm gonna say Carolina Rosa.
Mm.
Dude, my other business partner, Eddie Peligro, right? One of the up and coming superstars, right? With fun fact, Maya and I, not only do we share the same name, but also we share the same nationality. We're both half Honduran.
Honduran, yep.
I was like, Hondurans are very rare.
No, and it's true. I tell you this, and you might not even know this, but I'm gonna just even before you answer this question here, do you know the second highest population of Hondurans in the States?
In New Orleans.
Fucking right.
Yeah.
Fucking right. I knew that shit already. I'm always in New Orleans. So once I was like Honduran, I was like, you gotta know this.
Yeah, and the reason why I know is because my boy Troy.
Troy Anthony, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. Yeah. So he's always telling me there's a ton of, but in Arizona, there's very few Hondurans. And I was like, I'm like, you're Honduran? He's like, yeah, bro. I'm like, me too. I'm like, I'm half Mexican. He's like, me too. And so we have the same name, same nationality, and the same passion, bro. Isn't that crazy? Anyway, yeah.
That's a bromance in the making.
Exactly, yeah. So Ed Amaya hired Carolina Rosa to come out and teach for us in Arizona, and I danced with her, and it was literally the best dance I've ever had in 13 plus years of dancing bachata. It was absolutely like you know when you see a movie in outer space and they release water and the water just kind of like wherever you push it, it just goes and flows. That is what it feels like dancing with. It was just unreal. It just, oh my goodness, yeah. And I told her, I was like, this is the best dance I've had in my life. And she's like, oh, muchas gracias. Yeah,
but because she probably heard that a lot, but she doesn't realize like you're being 100% back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, she is a smooth dancer. I love dancing with her.
Man, I love that. Yeah. All right, now it brings us to our last question. And you being so honest and transparent, I think you would have some good information on this last question here. So me and you have been in this industry, been involved in it in some capacity since the early 2000s,
correct,
more or less. And we have seen this community evolve from when, and I have to be honest, when bachata was an afterthought, till now we use the terms bachata is taking over. Right. So for my question to you, FNF, is what are some things even in 2022 that we need to change or you see can be a change that can help us move forward in growing the scene?
Oh man, I would say the bickering, man, between traditional and central
Mm-hmm.
bachata dancers. I mean, that started back in 2012, right, when Sultry released his first remix, and people were like, "Oh, that's not real bachata," and I get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I understand it, but it's just about having fun, right? Like let's just let people have fun, man. I mean, people work all day, right? They wake up at 5 a.m., go to work at 7, get up at 4, go home, grab a bite to eat at the social, whatever, right? They're exhausted. They just want to have fun, right? I tell people, if you want to come to the social, pay your $10 and lay on the floor while I play a song. Hey, that's you, bro. I mean, right? As long as you're not in the way of the people, you're not lay
Yeah.
down in the court, dude. You do whatever you want. I don't care as long as you're not harming people, right? If you want to
Yeah.
break dance to the song, break dance, you know. But just let people do what they want to do, man. Like and stop this bickering between. Hey, that's not me, but that's not. I get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Soul Tricks has done so much for the movement, right?
Yes,
He-
absolutely.
he's connected non-Spanish speaking people to bachata, right? In a way that Anthony Santos can't do because Anthony doesn't sing in English, right? Right? So he can't doesn't make remixes, right? But Soltrix took a song by Rihanna, Bieber, or whoever else, right? Carol G, whatever, whoever, and threw a bachata beat in there, right? And people connected
Mm-hmm.
with it, right? And if you connect with the music, you're gonna connect somebody on the dance floor, and it's gonna become a passion, perhaps, right? And then the community
Absolutely.
grows, right? So yeah, let's bring him in with the central movement, right? And then let's teach him about the roots and the culture, right? Where
Yes.
he started with Juan Manuel Calderon in 1962, right? All that stuff. Yeah, I do know all that history too, and I appreciate all that stuff, right? And I appreciate what all these the godfathers of bachata did, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I love central bachata, man, because it's sexy, right? And I'm good at it, right? So I don't want people to look at me and be like, "Ha, yeah, you're not really dancing much," and laugh, because I don't,
Mm-hmm.
that's just it's not cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't want to dance central bachata, don't dance in the central bachata. Go
Yeah.
dance your traditional, and that's it. But it's tough for human beings to do that, right? But if we can get rid of that animosity amongst ourselves, that would be great, man.
I mean, hey, I to be honest with you, I really wholeheartedly agree because I love that traditional music, but I think the biggest issue, and I have to say, was the educational part
Mm,
because there were people teaching this style, but not giving the education behind it. So when
right,
you don't teach the education and you just teach steps, that's
right,
all these students know. And then when they go and they then become teachers, that's
right,
still that lack of information that's there. So when I've seen people over there, I tell you this, I have seen instructors be exposed at a workshop, and that is due to the lack of education.
correct,
Because there's a difference between you have people like Alex and Desiree, you have people like Daniel and Desiree. People hold them to a high regard because besides being amazing performers, they are also amazing teachers because they
correct,
know how to teach.
right,
And I think again is that listen, I love both styles. I always feel bachata is bachata. I understand people want to kind of segregate it sometimes, and that's that. But ultimately, for me, I love the music, but I agree with you that the remixes help bridge the gap between the non-Spanish
yeah,
and the Hispanic or whatever you want to say.
right,
Because to be honest, that helped then expose that music to the masses. You're hearing when you had Romeo doing music with Usher,
it's
when you have
dope.
now Drake doing songs with Bad Bunny, and you
Yep.
realizing now these pop icons and cultural figures are now hearing this music and getting influence. And just like in our community, again, you're gonna have some type of pushback. But people like you, DJ FNF, the people's DJ, understands what the people wants.
Right.
And that's something that goes a very, very long way. And someone here writes traditional appreciation, cultural appreciation, modern remix appreciation, honoring longtime artists, appreciation for DJs, balance. And
Yeah.
whoever that is, I want to figure that out. But they said
Hey,
it right on the money
that's
because
it.
when you have balance,
Yes.
everything else works in itself.
Correct.
And honestly, DJ FNF, I appreciate you doing this last segment called The Randoms, because of course we can be lighthearted, but also we just love to hear the honest truth about things.
Right.
And I appreciate you doing this segment. And now it brings us into our conclusion of our talk today. And really, I think today we've kind of gotten some glimpses really into your life. But for me, again, from one artist to another, I have to thank you so much for what you've been able to contribute, your value to your community, because again, we need more people like yourself that are true to you. Because like I've told you too, I've met people in this industry that they have a facade. The person I see DJing is not the person I see that just walked off.
Correct. Absolutely.
And, you know, for me, again, I thank you for what you do because of all the sacrifices you probably have made over these years, doing events, missing personal moments. And again, I thank you for coming on to the podcast. But at least before we do go, I would love to know if you had any last few words for myself and the audience, but also contact info on how people can reach you.
Absolutely. No, I'm very thankful for the opportunity that I have, right, to do what I do, right. I get to have fun, get paid having fun and doing what I love to do, right, which very few people in the world can do that, right. You know, most people hate their jobs, right, and that's what when I'm DJing, man, I'm always having fun, I'm always smiling, I'm always laughing, playing the guida, the campana, whatever, because to me is an expression of thanksgiving, you know, of a thankful heart, right? That I get to do this. I don't have to do it, right? I get to do it, man. You know, so I'm not gonna go to a social and DJ and be in a bad mood. I'm just not. You know, I'm not gonna do that because the people go in there deserve more than that, right? You know, they deserve to have somebody who left whatever issues they had at the door, and then when they plugged in, they give that room the energy that they deserve, right? You know.
Yeah.
So I feel very honored, very thankful, very very privileged to be able to do this, right? And even like I said, it all happened as a joke, right? But I take it very seriously, you know, right? Because I realize the impact that I have, right, in a community. I had that impact in LA. In LA, I was just teaching. I taught maybe from like 2010 through 2014, but I had an impact there. After that, I was one of the dancers there as well, right? So people would see me and they're like, "Oh man, I want to dance like this guy right here," right? You know. So I was the leader in the community. I was the leader in the community in Arizona. I'm a leader in the community here in San Antonio as well. So I don't take that lightly at all, right? And I'm very cognizant of that fact that people do see me and say, one day I'm gonna dance like this guy, or I like the way this guy DJ. So I'm always aware of what people around me, right? So very thankful for that. We'll never take it for granted. Thank you for what you do, right? Obviously for bringing featuring all these artists and doing what you do for the community, so that other people can get to know other artists, right? That they don't know in other cities, right? You know, and oh man, you know, maybe when I go there, I can go to his event or whatever, right? So every little bit of helps, right? So just get better at dancing, take some classes. You know, our community right now, because of COVID, is very young, right? Learn to dance, right? Learn musicality, connection, all that stuff. Learn to dance, and the faster you get to that advanced level, the more fun it will be.
Absolutely. That's it. Definitely, man. And so, at least before we go, how can people reach you? Instagram, Facebook? Yeah.
So, on Facebook is Bachadicto, right? Although I do have a DJ FNF page on Facebook as well. But both Facebook and Instagram is Bachadicto. Or you can type just hashtag DJ FNF on Instagram as well, and you can find me there. I have a page dedicated just for my DJ, and one that says Bachadicto. Either one of those two. I don't have a TikTok, but anyway, that might be
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of surprised you don't have a TikTok.
I know, that's funny. But yeah, either one of those two, hashtag DJ FNF, and there you go. That's my DJ FNF page. Yeah.
See, I'm trying to. Yeah, we got to show people where it's at, man. Honestly,
Yeah,
and again,
thank
I
you.
appreciate that we can do this and have this moment, and I definitely can't wait for the future. I know I will be at an event that you will be at one day, and I'll definitely, having these conversation helps because it builds the connection. And again, once we see each other, it's like, oh wow, we just saw each other before. But again, I'm glad that our community has people like you that are not only invested in having fun but you're
Yes,
invested
sir.
in the people. And that's what it's all about. And honestly, again, I thank you so much for coming on. I thank you for everyone who's tuned in, who will be tuning in. This episode will also be featured on Spotify coming
Oh,
soon.
nice.
Yes, and I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Episode 226
From we
of the
go.
yes, man, of the live
One
discussions of
plus.
Diamond podcast, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great night. We'll see you guys on Friday. We're talking to Rubia from the New Orleans Salsa Bachata Festival. Everyone have a great night. Stay safe. See you soon.